So what is it that I want to talk about today in Medicine Woman Solutions? Because this Brenda Medicine Woman wants to talk to you about the upcoming classes that are coming in. One of the unique things that is coming up is about learning what is a narcissist and how to notice the different levels from one extreme to the other of a narcissist and how to get out of being a narcissist. Okay, you're going to, if you grew up with one, you're going to have narcissistic traits. You need to heal that out of your life because of the epigenetics. You are going to be moving beyond that. Okay, and what's interesting is I'm not just going to say meditation, yoga, become aware. No, you need education, but the healing tools is what's really going to take and shift you in a way that's going to cause you to realize, I don't have to live that way. And there's something else other than feeling like I'm going insane because somebody made me feel that way. And we're going to learn to teach you how to become a spiritual human so that you can stop being the victim and stop living in the cause and effect. I want you to be the cause and effect. I don't want you to just be the effect. I want you to understand the dynamics of the soul. So we've got a lot to do. Yes, I brought the board back. We're going to do some more board work. But at the same time, someone had, I'm going to take this opportunity that somebody wrote me and asked me a question. They paid me. But because we're not able to get together, then I figured I'll do the type of reading. Now, I won't share their name. I'm going to tell you what the story is going to be about. So I'm going to it's a little different than spirit just talking, but you're going to see something and I don't know exactly what it is. I'm trusting spirit. As usual, spirit is doing the work. Now I can't find it. How isn't that interesting? Okay, spirit, just find it for me. Here it is. So this person, before I set the timer, says, we got a builder and we built our house 2 years ago. We've been through arbitration and he didn't pay what was agreed upon. So now in December, it is being brought up before the judge. We had struggled in great money together to do work and labor with the house. The bank who loaned us the money isn't helping us. Okay. And just to let you know that a person, if this is happening to you, then you are going to have understand this is the energy is moving to that person. Oh, that's not going to be seen on that board, but that's okay. It's happening to that person. My screen disappeared. And so we have money issues. Okay. Understand that's energy. Everything is energy, but you have to look at it, how the energy is coming at them. And the thing is that money's coming to you. No, it's coming to the point that it's a story of lack. And there's a price to pay. Okay. So first of all, just taking that, you can look at your life and say, hey, I always have to pay the price. I always have to, do more than I need to. Just so that you understand that it's not just about money issue. It's so much more than that. It's just showing up as the issue. Okay. They trusted the contractor. So now you're going to look and say, where do I have trust issues? If you have trust issues anywhere in your past, then you haven't resolved it. It could show up in a person such as, in this case, the contractor, that you're going to get ripped off. So now, can you trust yourself? Because it's about you making a choice. Can you trust that? Okay. So you're talking about the kaleidoscope. And how does it all look? Okay. In this case, it is trusting you, trusting your intuition, trusting God, trusting your ego, trusting people, trusting your environment. And then they're looking for help. Okay. And they're, looking for help from a judge, looking for help from the bank. Are they going to get help? Now, what will happen is the body's meridians, like the gallbladder meridian and the stomach meridian, will start making you go into, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's not going to happen. Fear, great amount of fear that the worst outcome. Now, if you're the type of person that goes and runs to the end of your timeline and do the worst case scenario, just so that you can make sure that you have good luck, that is an interesting pattern because you need to heal that. Otherwise, it keeps playing out. And you're going to keep telling the universe, more, please, more of that issue, even though you really don't want it. But remember, if the body's consciousness and your soul is holding this programs, it's then set as a GPS because it hasn't been resolved. And I'm telling you, if you look at it, you can resolve this, okay? And Amy, address Mary there for a minute. So it's not just one issue. You're asking yes or no from a psychic. I see variables. If you haven't decided to heal this particular thing, you're going to have an issue. If you have to do the worst case scenario and you run to your timeline to get luck, but yet your results are always the same, then guess what? There's your answer. So it boils down to, how do you accept, believe, and give your willpower away to this? This is why a lot of times we have fear of the future. And the problem is when the brain becomes so enticed with your frontal lobe creates your future, that your frontal lobe says from the brain, which is in the dark and only can predict about what you feed it, okay? It's going to predict what it knows in the past. So if I'm looking above and spirit says, oh, look, yes, they're going to win the case. Oh, look, no, equally, they're not going to win the case. And it's like, well, what is this about? Because they haven't made the choice. The choice is, are they done with it? Or are they going to resolve the issue? That's what your soul's asking. Or are you going to continue this pattern? Again, you are asked to make the choice. So you can sit there and believe with all of your heart. But if your mind says to you, oh, it's not going to work. Okay, you got to hear about those backstory problems. Now, this is why hope therapy works. This is why the tools work. This is why empowerment through enlightenment works, because you get to see how our map goes inside of us. How can this person make it into their favor? They got to calm down the mind, for one. I have people coming to me all the time doing through soul coaching. Oh my God, something bad's happening in my life. I can't stop thinking about it. And I know it's true. Okay, hold L2S. Okay, and they'll come back. Oh, it's a 10 and it's a whopping million and it's red and black. And a few seconds later, they're coming back. Oh, it's not as bad. And then I'll say, okay, look at this, focus on that, or hold this. And then all of a sudden they come back and go, oh, that's better. They calmed the brain down. They didn't have to go in that prediction. They didn't have to go into that deep state of fear, because that fear is what supposedly helps them to get through it. But that's the tool they use to resolve. That's all. And it's an old tool. It worked then. It doesn't work now. You've chronologically aged. Your brain has developed over time through conditioning. It's changing. So if they're used to not receiving help, they're going to have the same issue. If they have trust issues with themselves or trust issues with other people, it's going to be the same issue. And yet it could still win in their favor. Heal the shit, it can win in your favor. Now, what if you decide that you think about it, but you don't add your heart? And you're like, I've done all the positive affirmations. I've done all of these things. And I know I'm going to get it. And I'm going to get it. But did you add your heart? Because you need to understand how to create form in reality. A thought mixed with emotions create form. You understand? So what hope therapy does is it helps you break down the emotions, and then the thought calms down. The emotions calm down, and you start to resolve all the things that you tried to survive as a 5-year-old, as a 3-year-old. Okay? This is complicated, but it's really not. If you can just understand that your emotions, and you're like, I'm happy, and then all of a sudden you're triggered. That emotion starts to kick off, and that emotional chemical peptide to, let's say, fear starts to worry. And then you have like 4 or 5 of these emotional chemical peptides of these emotions going off. Your meridians will say, oh shit, this is my pattern. And then you start to overthink. You begin to worry, which is a stomach meridian. I'm galled by what just happened. And I resent it. That's the gallbladder. Liver meridian kicks in, and it decides it's going to be angry. It doesn't want to see aggression. Oh God. Small intestine kicks in. Oh my God, I'm going to be rejected again. The heart says, oh shit, I can't do this. And then your first, second, your third chakra says, okay, survivor mode, shut the heart off. There's no way we can be vulnerable in love. Sorry. And the doors on the heart shut. You have enough of that enough times, you're going to have the issue. So that start to develop. And what my job is to help create a movement so that you can have mental health, emotional health. I want you to have physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good health. And the only way you can do that is you have to first recognize that you're an ego. And that ego is not the enemy. It's how you, as the observer, attach to it. Over-identifying with matter. And when you do that, you birth a personality, you birth a character, you birth an emotion, and now you are that identity. Okay. And I teach you how to use tools so you can stop. You can actually say, that doesn't have to own you. It can actually just be a memory. It can be a part of sculpting who you are, but you don't have to hold all the pain and anguish, which then takes you into, I have to have physical conditions. I have to have emotional issues. I mentally can't handle it. My nerves are raw. Our immune system is attacking. When you start working with the emotions, a lot of people are like, oh, that one healing should have worked. Why didn't it work? I'm sorry. You're freaking complicated, and I can prove it to you. Just out of one question. Just out of one question. If this makes any sense to you, please let me know what you think so far. Okay. So, it's people that put their guards up and they say they have to put in, nope, I can't do this. I can't do that. I've handled it this way. I'm using this coping tool. I have to protect my heart. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it's like, all right. Okay. And I don't touch your safety blankets. If you wanted to work, I'll work around them. We'll take and get the back door open so that you can start saying, oh, let's heal this, and this. And then you're like, oh, I'm done here. You can have my safety blanket. And it's like, you give it up. Half of you don't even give yourself permission to say, oh, I get to take up more than just 2 inches of my space. Or, and it really is true. Oh my God, I've gone through this. I can't even give myself permission to sit down. I mean, a lot of people continuously work. And they just don't give themselves permission to just, and those that finally do, when nobody's looking, you take it. And I always look at it this way. Oh, I need a break. Okay, you need a break. The problem is that by the time that you trained yourself to get a break and you get a break, you either don't take a break or you take it to such an extreme that you miss the point of why you have a temple, why you have a meat suit. This meat suit needs to poop and pee, it needs to eat, it needs to breathe. It needs to sleep. It needs to exercise. It needs to move. It's built. It's built to move. It's built to this body's built for amazing things, but we crash it. We completely crash. Okay, if that makes any sense. Now, I'm looking for a particular deck real quick. And so then the question with this person, and you and Instagram, you can go to YouTube, Facebook, and find it and watch and see if you can see the board. But so this person then asked, this is what has been told of us by some people. So it was secondhand information that know the builder and the loaning bank. Okay, so this is what they experienced, or maybe if they didn't experience, this is their opinion, is that the builder works and owes lots of money to the cartel and the bank launders money. Okay, this is the stuff they've learned after the fact. Now, this is definitely a victim energy cord. Understand we all have those. but it's how you heal so that you don't have to have that. See, the 4 archetypes: the victim, the saboteur, the prostitute, and the child of many forms. We all have those as a template of how to function as a human being. But it is the extremes. You have to go to either extremes, make someone a victim or you be the victim, but you heal your shit. The lesson is to the wisdom so that you can stand. Like, you know what a seesaw or teeter-totter is, and but if you can stand in the middle, it'll stay straight. But if you can do the splits and it stays straight, then guess what? You have more range of movement. The point is that you don't have to go to live in either extremes. You can take the wisdom and be able to walk on water or walk on the seesaw. But we had to know, okay, had we known, we wouldn't have done business. Absolutely. Yeah, you wouldn't have. But it's, again, not being informed. And if that's where it feels like you're being sidetracked. But how can you be informed about something when it's a lesson? Because sometimes we're not meant to hear it. So many questions will the court grants us the money that they owe us, okay? Now, see, again, I see several different variables above the head. And it says remain positive. The card that popped up was remain positive. Oh, and will the bank loan us the money to complete the house? The more information you get, for instance, it can be more information for me, more information about maybe you need to find a different bank. You know, if you're banking on just one bank, you may hear several no's, but then all of a sudden there'll be one bank or one place that says yes. It says there will be peaceful resolutions for you. Okay, so you just have to begin to trust the walk that you have. What do I mean by that? Like, if you're in fear, you're going to have all kinds of obstacles to prove that, oh my God, this is hell. But if you just start living in the trust and the faith that, okay, I'm just going to trust spirit to guide me through this. And, you know, you can hear some bad stuff, but in the 11th hour, it could all work in your favor. Says we are paying X amount in the balance of the loan. We don't have a completed house. It's about less than 50% completed. Is there a conspiracy with the bank? And it says, wait, that means things are happening. Okay. So your opinions, your fears, and all this, it doesn't have to go in that way because people think things are set in stone. You live in a dimensional world, which means you have parallel universes, and you heal and you have positiveness. I don't want to put it that way. You walk with faith and trust in your spiritual path. You will switch in a parallel dimension where one dimension is that they're corrupted and the other one it's not. It sounds very confusing, but it's not. There'll be days I feel all of a sudden I know I woke up in one. I'm like, this isn't the one I normally am in. And then all of a sudden it'll be realigned and I'm like, oh, it changed. And I've had people that don't even believe in this stuff and they go, huh. And then they're aware of it. And I've even heard them say it. They're saying that you need to be assertive. So the thing is that if you're used to being controlled by a narcissist, then you got to pull out those triggers. So, you know, will this be resolved so that it's their house can get finished? And that is that you have many opportunities to have that done. And it sounds like you have a very favorable outcome. And you may feel like you have abundance and you don't have abundance. Understand abundance of negativity or abundance of positivity. The point is it's about how you look at it. And I will tell you, if you want it more in your favor, go do some emotional freedom technique or make an appointment with me so that we can start pulling out all of these GPSs that says, oh, you have to go through this strategy of hell before you can get good results, or you got to expect this or that. You know, and that is, a reading, but I wanted you to share it with you about what that looked like. And something just felt like it flew right in my eye. Again, empowerment through enlightenment is a way to pull you out of the matrix of your life into a non-judgmental space so that you can stand in the cause and the effect of the equation right in the middle, and you can actually look at the third options, understand a little bit deeper about how complicated, but yet you're not. How's that for you?
Hi.
Hello. All right. So what is it, the issue that you had, my dear?
Oh my God. Okay, I was taking a nap this morning because I was up late last night with you, obviously. And in storms, the guy from 7 miles out of town.
Okay, so
And
a man appears.
yeah. And he is going to mulch up the leaves for me because I have like a 3-inch carpet of leaves.
Okay.
And so I opened the window and told him to, put down the thing so that it mulches them instead of blows them out.
Okay, so you gave instruction or direction.
And then...
yeah.
And then he started mowing and storms in. It's not working. It keeps dying. I'm like, well, if you would have done it yesterday like I asked before it got wet.
Okay, yes. And so is that your issue?
Pretty much.
Okay, how
and
did
then
you...
he comes back in a little bit later and bitches some more.
Okay. So the relationship is, she wants something done. And so this person will come in and it'll be on their time. And she wants it done on her time. But what's the right time? Well, if it's leaves, you want it when they're dry, not when they're wet. You can't mow the lawn when they're wet. But in the leaf situation, same story. You can't really do anything with a mulcher when they're wet. You need them dry. So this is a dynamics they have created. It's saying, you're thinking, isn't that an everyday thing? Well, you got to understand, why is it her soul made her hit that person show up that way? And her soul wanted to show that there's injustice all the time, and that there's always sorrow, and that she's irrelevant, and that there's this acting mean. Now, she grew up in a household where she wasn't really allowed to act mean. Now, and she probably decided, I don't want to be like those people. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, she's got an X amount. So now we got math. You have an X amount of energy. Okay. An amount of energy that you've invested in I won't. Simply put, I won't. This amount of energy needs to come back. Her lesson in this is that I won't do that. And then she devotes herself to be a good person and all of this other stuff, show up and raise herself the way that she'd want to be raised. Not to blame the parents, but this is just a way that our soul evolves. This is still hanging out there. This is still an order to the universe. I would like so much of this, universe. The universe says, okay, every day. Do you still want this to be true? Yes. But guess what? You don't understand how bad that this is, because you're binding this, which means if you bind it too tight, it's going to explode. Okay. Which means you are only choosing one side of the seesaw to learn this. You need the other side. So you think if you healed this, you're going to go and turn into be that nasty person. I ain't going to do that. No, you've spent many years showing how you're not that nasty person. So you have to actually heal this with a healing tool so that it dissolves down the emotional chemical peptides. Okay. And then all of a sudden it becomes X equals resolved. Okay. And it equals I am. Your I am what? You're whole. Because you get the energy back. The universe stops sending you the shit. And you now have the opportunity for growth. What does that mean? Okay. Now you have to look, and this is where it gets tricky. Like Hitler. Why would anybody want to be like Hitler? Okay. No fans out there. What I'm trying to say is that he was able to speak his mind. Can you speak your mind? Okay. He was able to get his point across. Can you get your point across? Can you hold your own? Do you understand how I'm doing this, right? So the things that you said, I won't be, what are the good qualities in that besides the bad qualities you see? And when you threw out the dishwater, you threw out the baby too. So what you have to do is now you have to upgrade yourself by realizing that I need my power, my strength, my personal power, not the power of the world. No, personal power. I need to be able to create boundaries. So this will help you create boundaries. This will help you create a backbone. So you're like, oh, but I don't need to be taken advantage again. And you'll be able to have that voice, that voice that you've been looking for. And you can put your heart into it and say, you know what? This isn't going to work out. And you be able to say words that you weren't able to say. Why? Because your arrested development would never allow you to. So instead of doing this, you're going to be this cat and mouse game, because this is what you guys talk about. It becomes, I'm right. You're wrong. You're wrong. It's a mirror. This is a mirror. This will always be the mirror. I don't care how old you get. It'll be a freaking mirror of when you started off with your soul, as well as inside the womb, as well as inside this life. You are moving through your 7 levels of consciousness. Those are your chakras. And within each one of those levels, you're moving another 7 levels. So, you're growing. You don't have to be one-sided. And then because this cat and mouse game, they've gotten to the point where neither one of them can tolerate the fact that this is how, they all are. And here's the kicker. I'm going to be teaching about narcissist class so that you can unbecome a narcissist. You're like, but I'm not one. You do if you got a knot. You may be displaying it to some degree, but you need to clear it out completely. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so now I already told you the pattern, and each one of those emotions are firing. He'll have his set of emotions that are firing. His world is correct, her world is correct, but they no longer are in sync. They're completely out of sync. Mm-hmm. 2 great people come together, and then all of a sudden they grow apart and they're out of sync. Now, if those people didn't grow apart, but they're just out of sync, you can get back in sync. But it's not about compromise. It's about the third option. You just have to start learning what all that looks like. So I would say you would need to heal this, because there's a part of you that believes that because this pattern happens, and it's a pattern, it's a unit. Okay. I would say you'd want to do L2D, because you know that he exerts his power. Why? Because you heard him complain. And he's trying to get out of it. And if you really listen, it's not about complaining. It's about, I didn't really want to do it in the first place, but I'm here because I love you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is that a total different thing? Just knowing that part? He's still showing up.
Yeah.
And then instead of you going in there going, did you just see what that asshole did? And guess what? You got to heal that, because that is your reaction to cope with this exerting energy, and that you don't want to be irrelevant. It's complicated, but it's not if you begin to break down the emotions that make you think all kinds of shit. I wish you could see her face. She's like, wow. Okay. I'm going to get Zoom, and then we'll do these live. Okay. All right. Does this make sense? Do you feel like you got your answer? Okay. Because right now we're just going to look at it little by little. You'll probably have to hold several points, or just hold one point and I redirect it. But to help you break it down, you need to give me feedback, people. You need to give me feedback, people. Does this give you more insight than what we've been working? Because I gave you stuff, you connect to the dots, and you're going, wow. But by seeing it, what do you think?
It makes more sense to see it.
And then you'll grasp onto it more about wanting to let it go, instead of holding on to your excuses and your reasonings and your coping tools that you think's keeping you safe, but keeps repeating hell. I want you out of your hell. I want you to evolve. I want you to be happy. You're hardwired for joy. I need you to get there. And we have to, suffering is just an option. And we are moving out of the narcissist paradigm. And I am so happy for that. And now by January, I think I'll start having all of those information for you so that you can start slowly working with me so that you can wake up to this paradigm that you know no longer serves, and you want to resolve it out of your life, out of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies, out of that paradigm. You're like, I'm out of that matrix. I'm done. You don't have to. You and me and everybody else that is breaking free from that get to create a new paradigm. Does this make sense?
It sure does.
Thank you very much for calling in, Aim. I appreciate that.